Hey, how's it going, everyone? Just back again with another lesson. It's a little bit free form, but just kind of more on the personal side. Just again for people, I would say the few people that have been on this journey with me, just to kind of get an insight into my life, and then in the slim chance that that I am one of the elect, I kind of put these warnings out there about my life, not to scare people, but to give that encouragement. It's like I'll be honest, like if I sort of wish that other people would do this, that believe that they're in that group or they're getting revelation. That's what I love about YouTube, is that you could find them and then go watch their videos and then get a sense of whether God is actually speaking through them, and then get a sense of their tolerance, and their patience for this world. And then, I don't know, to me, that would be incredible, and then the way I see my life, not being here for much longer, is that it's a way to put pressure on God. It's the only way that I can protest, because I think that this whole setup is stupid. And so protesting on the streets is not going to do anything, because my main issue is that this earth is boring. It's just completely boring. There's nothing to do. And the only thing that I can do is to go and potentially be a slave. If you're lucky enough to go get a job, and then all the things that you are required to do, first and foremost, lie. I've done that, to get jobs, and pretended and all that. Like, they're asking me things that I'm not even allowed to say. Like, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? We're not allowed to say that in the Bible, according to the Bible, which this earth, they'll purposely ask you that just so you sin, and stuff like that. We're not allowed to answer that, or we're allowed to say that only God knows, what happens 5 years from now. And I don't even know if there is 5 years or 10 years or anything like that. We're not supposed to say that, according to the Bible, that we're going to go to this place and do business and all that. So this entire world is Antichrist. And that's not even once you get to your job, and then the things that may be required of you. And so, it's that's where I'm at. So that's the underlying vibe of my channel. Okay. And so this stuff to me it's more on the academic side, like the sequence, and then the end times, and then the looking in definition of words and all that. Obviously it's very much real, and we all see that it's coming true right before our eyes. So I'm not trying to dilute that, but the underlying issue, just for me, for people to know me as a person, is that I find this world boring, and stupid. It's just not intellectually stimulating for me. It's like I just, in the spirit realm, I just went to the wrong room, and I peeked in, and I was like, oh, okay, whoops, that kind of thing, and so no big deal, no harm, no foul kind of thing. And so that's what's going on. It's not anything. I don't really I don't get angry really anymore at all. It's just the way the world is, and the way I was designed, and I didn't make the world, and I didn't make myself. So it's just like oil and water, it's just and I think a lot of us have seen this for a long time, and then that's just the way it is, and then there's no negotiating. Like, I'm not going to change who I am, or I don't even know how to do that. Sometimes I wish I could, not to make myself worse, but to be able to, prune myself more quickly, but I can't do that. And then this world's definitely not changing. Okay. So that's the underlying thing. Okay. So I want people to know, in that regard, I'm very, very stable. Okay. So don't worry if you believe that yourself. It's logical, it's rational. Okay. So there's no issues with that, in my opinion. And then when we pass away, our soul goes back to God, the God of the Bible, if he's the one that architected all this, and it's his energy. Okay. So that's what it is, and I know that now. And so, I have no control over that. Okay. Like, whether there is an energy inside of me or not, I have no control over where it goes, or what it can do, or what it is, or anything like that. And, even if I did, I still wouldn't know how to make like something productive for me, because I'll be like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't really have any ideas. So I just want people to know it's like a very practical thing with me. Okay. So I'm about to sign a 6-month lease. And so, that's my time frame, and so I kind of have to like penny pinch. That's the first time I've ever had to do that in my life, is budget. I've been fortunate where I've never really had to do that, but, it's not super tight, but, I have to like kind of keep a low profile and all that, which is good, I would say. And I'm actually thankful for that, I don't have like a surplus or an overflow, because not that I would go and do anything like crazy, but it just forces me to live like modest, and then just stick to the basics, which for me is like pretty much just like doing these kind of lessons and then golfing, whenever the weather's good. And then that's pretty much it, and I subscribe to a bunch of golf YouTube channels and I'll watch that. And that's pretty much it, and then, just I sleep. I rest a lot, I guess. So I'll be well rested, pardon the pun. But so that's pretty much my life, and so dating and all that stuff pretty much is non-existent because all these apps require like, your status and I just pretty much cut that off. And so, I mean, I can't even have a conversation with a truther, much less people who have done that kind of stuff. So I'm very aware that what I teach is like completely extreme, for this world, and I'm comfortable with it because that's what the Bible says. So I'm not complaining, but that door is closed, and I mean, it's pretty much, I'm wrapping things up. So there's no reason to waste, somebody else's time in that realm, that kind of thing. So, that's kind of where I'm at, time wise. And so this is an amazing thing for me. It's just one of those things where like all these things have just sort of worked together to, in a way, force me to have faith in what I teach and lean on it, because again, if I had more resources or this narrative wasn't being pushed as aggressively, I could kind of carve a path to stay here longer or whatever. But those things are not there. And so it's getting like more, restricted. And I just realized I love that, and it's like, if I was bored, which I am in general, and then now it's like made unsafe to be here, I'm like, well, okay, that's perfect. Okay. So then that's a good way for this world to tell me that, you're not welcome here. Okay. And so, that kind of thing. And then I have no issues with that, and so it's perfect for me personally. So I'm very, very thankful for this situation. There's really the ideal way to leave any kind of thing is just be like, man, it was boring. It was just not intellectually stimulating, and then it's getting dumber by the day. And so, no issues with that. So, but for the people, I do again make this claim that there's a chance that I am one of the elect, and again, I don't deserve it. People who know me a little bit through this channel or whatever, there's nothing special about me, okay? Except the fact that I can be mean once in a while or whatever. But I do pursue the truth intensely, very intensely, and it scares people, and I understand that. But that's just the way I am. That's the way I was built. And that part of me I love, because I don't think there's anybody on this earth who wants to know the truth more than I do, and there's lots that do. I would assume it's the elect, whoever they actually are. If I'm not one of them, they do. But there's no way, because I think about this stuff all the time, to the point where it makes sense throughout my life, why people like us who are into these truths, we can't fit in, because that's what we care about. Okay, we don't care about the Kardashians and like nonsense, sports, anything. We don't care. We don't care about even people in our family, and then that's okay, if the truth is the thing that we're putting above that. And then so that's the way it's been, and then I just look back on my life, like I've always been very argumentative in Bible studies when I was the president of the Rice Graduate Christian Fellowship. And, it was very tame because I didn't know any of these things, that I know now, nowhere near. But I could always sense that the people that I'm talking to about the Bible, they didn't really understand the Bible, and I couldn't put my finger on it like I can now easily, and that kind of thing. But I was just always like arguing, with people who would like, I remember one guy, I think he was like Catholic or something, and then the Bible explicitly says, do not call anybody on earth, your father. And I'm like, well, why do you guys do that, in like your denomination or whatever he was part of? He's like, oh, there's written like 20 books on it, hundreds of books on it. And I was like, I didn't buy that. At that time, I was like, who cares? I don't care how many books are written on it. The Bible says don't do that, okay? And so it was that kind of thing. It's not like I was like holy or anything on that, but just purely from an academic perspective, I was like, why are you guys doing that? That's not what the Bible says. And so that's the way I've been, throughout my life. And so I've always been a Bible literalist, whether it's been on a lighter scale like that till now, where I believe majority of the Bible is literal. Okay, not a dragon necessarily and all that kind of language, but the those things are like, describing the way that dragon will be. It's going to be ferocious, okay? And it even says that it's going to literally try and like attack, the remnant of the seed. And so it's going to be angry, it's going to be wroth and all that. So the language is literal in that sense, how passionate that dragon will be. I'm referring to Revelation 12 for people who don't know. And so it is literal, in pretty much everywhere, in my opinion, in one way or another. So that's always been, sort of my vibe. But anyway, so we have this countdown now for me personally, okay? 6 months, literally to the end of this year. And so this is incredible, and so the clock is ticking, and I want people to know that, again, if I am, Christ will appear. He will, to take away his elect. He has to. And then if it's not, I want people to know I very much prepared for that as well, and I have no issues with it. So this is what I do in my life, and this is maybe a life lesson, I guess, whatever life we have left. I set up 2 scenarios always in almost everything that I do, and I love both of them. And so I love both of these because they're essentially the same for me. Because if I'm bored and there's nothing to do here and I'm just surrounded by a bunch of stupid people who don't let me talk about anything, beyond what's in the government, whatever, and I don't want to talk about that unless I'm making fun of them, that's dumb, okay? And so I'll go down that road and realize, okay, well, then there's nothing to do here. So it's just practical. And then I can't change it, like I've been saying. And then if it's God involved, even if I'm not involved in the salvation event, but I see it, I'll at least know, okay, there's a chance. Okay, there's something better there with that group up there, okay? And I want to kind of figure out how to go with them. So at least like there's something better potentially there. And so, it's good, but they're essentially the same, because then if that doesn't happen, or that's never going to happen, then I'm like, well, okay, then it's boring, then I don't have any better ideas and that kind of thing. And so both are like, they're equal for me in that sense. It's like, it's amazing, and so I've mentally prepared for both, and then at the root of it is that this earth is boring. And so I don't have a better idea. And then if the God of the Bible does not appear and I'm not involved, and he doesn't offer me a better thing, then I'm like, okay, well, then that's no big deal then. So I don't see it in Islam or in any other religion or anything like that. Okay, so that's just the way it is. And so it's more at the root of it is that I'm looking for something that is intelligent, that has purpose. And then, you're not afraid or anything like that, or you have to like sin, or to like play dumb, which I find to be the biggest thing that I cannot do. Okay, I've just realized I can't play dumb or I can't play smart. I just say whatever, and then sometimes it's smart, sometimes it's dumb. I mean, I don't know how to like act. Like this whole world is littered with actors. And so I just wasn't designed that way, and then, if there was no Bible, then I would probably just sort of, I don't know, figure out how to like do that, I guess, because I'm like, well, what other option is there? Or that kind of thing. But even then, like, I don't even think I'd be able to do that, because it just goes so against my nature, the way I was designed, that I just don't think I could do that for a long time. I could probably pull it off and have for short periods of time, but not for a long time. So, this is amazing. This is just a brain dump for me personally, that, the next 6 months for me are exciting, and then we'll see, if I am one of God's elect. So Titus 1:4, Paul, a servant of God and apostle of Jesus Christ, according to the faith of God's elect and the acknowledging of the truth, which is after godliness. And so another translation that you can read that in, Paul, a servant of God and apostle of Jesus Christ, for the sake of the faith of God's elect and their knowledge of the truth. And so if what I'm teaching is true, there's no way I came up with it, on my own. I mean, I didn't just kind of figure that out or whatever. And so then this is where I want people to know that whatever you believe is the truth, that's your truth, okay? It's not just like, oh, I'm a Christian or anything like that. Everybody out there, you have to decide what you believe is true, whether it be stuff that you're learning here or somewhere and all that kind of stuff, okay? That's the times that we live in now, and that's why I encourage everybody to go and read the Bible on your own. You have to have an opinion on it, or else how can you say you believe in the Bible when you don't even know what any, and this was me as well. Like, I can't say that I was a believer or I believed in the truth when I didn't know the truth, okay? And so this is the unique thing about God's elect, is that they believe that they have the truth. And not only that, they're the only ones that have the truth. Okay? Because like it says here, the faith of God's elect and their knowledge of the truth. It's not one of the truths. Okay? Each one doesn't have a different truth, that kind of thing. So, and it says here, in hope of eternal life. And so this is all pertaining to salvation. And so I challenge everybody out there. People will write and I'm not going to argue with them, but I just want people to understand that this is the way I'm thinking. When you say you're a believer or whatever, I'm like, what do you believe in? Okay, what are you a believer of? Okay, this is the times that we live in now. You have to decide. I'm not saying believe what I teach, but you have to believe in something. You know, you have to believe, you have to know certain things about Christ, and then when he's going to return and all that kind of stuff, because that's a big part of the Bible. Like I've proven with all these sequence things, the entire Bible is like a loop, a reel of the last days. The whole thing. Okay, like, I mean, if people already knew already because they understand Revelation hasn't happened yet, but if it hasn't, if it wasn't already obvious enough, it is now. Okay, that you have to have an opinion on that. Okay, and so I'm not trying to be arrogant, but like we all should look into these things, you know, because you can't just say you're a believer. All my family's a believer. Well, what do they believe in? Okay, like you know, and that kind of thing. And then this is what I would have needed for people to tell me years ago, and then no one will, because like the Christian church was loaded with zombies. But like, what do you believe? You know, and then you have to ask yourself. And then this is the amazing thing about what happened to me on January 1st, 2020, where I believe that I was sealed with some information. Was like, I didn't ask for it. You know, I wasn't like, oh, you know, like, man, I wish I really knew what the two witnesses. I mean, I did sort of, but like, I mean, I didn't really have all those kind of questions formed to know that, oh, this book is out of sequence and this is the way it's going to look, you know, and stuff. So God did that, you know, and then planted those thoughts of like the way it's going to play out, you know, and stuff. And then the two witnesses are in Acts 1:10, and that's a big clue that unlocks the Bible. And then that is one of the things that I believe the elect know, is that Christ is going to return twice. No one else teaches that. So one person, Wedge Pressure, which is a funny name, was like, Chuck Smith waited daily for 70 plus years and Jesus never came. It could definitely be another 10 years. So, and then I asked him, could he cite a day that he was sealed? And I said the elect are sealed prior to wrath. And then he's like, I don't know. He passed away a while ago. He started Calvary Chapel. And then so he could be back on this earth. We leave that open because God, you know, reincarnates souls. But if he's not, then he's not part of the elect. Okay. And then the elect are preserved during the last time. And then the unique thing about the elect is that God is trying to deceive them. But the Bible says, if it were so possible. So if you're a person out there who doesn't feel like you're being deceived by everybody all the time, and they're almost like trolling you, I don't know if you can be of the elect, because God is trying to deceive his elect. That's what the Bible says. Okay. So if Chuck Smith never felt like people were trying to deceive him, and then he figured out the truth based on what God told him, then he can't be of the elect. Okay. And then he waited 70 plus years in vain. And Calvary Chapel CC, by the way, which is 33, but I'm assuming this guy is a Satanist, because there are things that we know now. Okay. Anybody that goes against my Christ, I believe you're Antichrist, and I don't care who you are. Oh, I don't care if you like all my videos or you're subscribed for how long. This is my truth. Okay. That like I read in Titus 1, that's my truth now. Okay. I didn't have this prior to January 1st, 2020. I did not have a clear, concrete truth. I do now, you know, and so all my chips are in on it, you know, and then I didn't even come up with it, like I said. And so just know that, you know. And so that person, Chuck Smith or whatever, let's just say he's here, which he's passed away. But like, if I were to tell him that, I'm assuming he would not agree. He wouldn't agree that Jesus is black. He wouldn't agree that there's reincarnation. He wouldn't agree that America's Mystery Babylon. He wouldn't agree that Christ returns with his elect. So Christ returns twice. First to bring the two witnesses here, which are Moses and Elijah. And I would say that's a truth for me now. It's a fact. And then they're going to be in America. They're going to be dark-skinned people wearing sackcloth and prophesying for exactly 1,260 days. And this earth, this satanic earth, is going to kill them. And then Christ is going to return with his elect and burn everybody with the mark of the beast. Okay? So that's my truth. Okay? And that's what I believe, that if I'm one of the elect, then God told me that. And then now we're waiting to see that manifest. And if it doesn't manifest, then I'm definitely not part of God's elect. Okay? And then that kind of thing. And so that's why, to me, like, it was just given to me kind of thing. And so anybody that does not accept that, you can still learn and, we can interact friendly, but like, you're Antichrist. Okay. And then, so I just want people to go, and you have to go and find your truth then, if you disagree with the things that I say, and then understand my claims first. That's why I get irritated with people that come by my channel and just write gibberish. They don't even bother reading the book of Revelation or anything. And then they're like, they just make up stupid stuff that has nothing to do with like scholarly anything. And then they just want a generic Jesus. Okay, we're not in those kind of days and any of that, because God's elect need to have a knowledge of the truth. So I'm making a bold claim on my channel that I have the knowledge of the truth. Okay, the only thing that I don't know is what Christ doesn't know, is when he's going to return, the day that he's going to return. He obviously knows the general time period that he warned us of everywhere, but he doesn't know the day. And so only the Most High knows that. And so that's it, but, and then obviously all the details of how it sort of plays out, we don't know, but I do know that there's going to be 1,260 days of 2 black men prophesying in America, and they're going to be tormented. They're going to be like chastised, because they're administering plagues in Revelation 16. And then initially they'll be sort of, hey, what are you guys doing here? And then the system's going to kill them. And then their bodies are going to be taken away after 3.5 days. And then Christ is going to return with his elect to just burn everybody. Okay. So that's my truth, and then that's what I believe in. Okay. And that's what I believe the Bible states everywhere. So if you don't believe that genuinely, then I ask, what do you believe? What are you a believer of? And all that, to anybody out there. And so if that comes true, and then anybody doesn't believe that, then they're Antichrist. And then, so that's why I state, and I'm not trying to be arrogant, but that's why I know majority of people are Antichrist. And when I say Antichrist, I mean anti-my Christ. Okay, I can't keep saying anti-my Christ. That'd be weird. But there's false Christ and false prophets. Everybody has a different Christ. Okay, this guy that he's referencing, Chuck Smith, if you were to ask him to write down a list of his main doctrinal tenets, points, they would be very different than mine. And I wouldn't even care if one thing was different. I would label him Antichrist to my Christ. If he didn't accept my 10 or 15, whatever, top things, our gods are competing now. Okay, may the best man win. And it looks like his won't win because he passed away. And the same thing with me. My Christ will not, quote, win if I die like a natural way, And then, so just know that the unique thing about God's elect is, first and foremost, they're sealed and they will not die no matter what happens. Okay. They will not experience death. Okay. And so this is an incredible thing for me over the next 6 months, is that, it's like the rubber meeting the road, for me, all this teaching, all this stuff, I'm going to see it, and then if it's not, the nice thing I like about this is that it's not like 6 or 10 years or 15 years. Okay. I wouldn't want to teach something where I don't know if it's true for that long. Just my own personality. Like, why, unless I knew somebody told me for a fact that it's true. God visited me like with an angel or something that said, keep preaching. Okay. It's true. Then I would keep doing it. But aside from that, no, heck no. And then it's compounded by the fact that I don't feel safe here. So, and we're required to sin to stay here. So I'm like, well, then God would definitely not want me to stay here much longer. For what? Okay, so like that doesn't make sense. And so I'm assuming Chuck Smith and all these other people too would not teach that this earth is hell. Okay, so these are all things that are leading me to believe that we're at the end, because the nice thing about my teaching is that they're obvious, that's the thing about it. So, and I don't say this to be arrogant, but if it doesn't happen during my time frame, no one's going to teach like a better Christ represented in the Bible. How? Okay, like, no. There are Hebrew Israelites who gatekeep this truth, and then understand that hell is not, a spiritual realm. And then the 501c3 church will be like, well, what are you talking about? Okay, so just that one out of many, that I teach, you've lost a majority of the world just with that one, and that's obvious. Okay, and so much less, all the other ones. So that's why, I'm looking to the sky, and especially after this strawberry moon or whatever on the 24th, 666, when it appears June 24th at 2:40. that's, my eyes will be to the sky, and then, so, this is not, to discredit the Bible, but then, I don't know, I'll leave all my stuff up, after I'm not here, but I don't know. I think a lot of people would look at it and then, I don't know, like it'd be hard pressed to find a better explanation, of the Bible. And then no one's going to go and teach it. No one's later down the road, oh, okay, I found the thing. And then, okay, let me like teach it or whatever. So it's like, it's kind of like, to me, now or never. And that's the thing I love about the situation that I'm in. And so, that's where I'm at, and so, I believe then that, that Christ will return soon, and so this is, again, to me, amazing for people out there that we're not going to have to wait long, to figure this out for sure. And then I will walk away from the Bible after this, like 6 months and like a week or so, thankful that, I've like studied it, and I understand it, and that I presented my truth. I presented my Christ to the world, the few people that come by here, and then they have a choice whether they want to believe that Christ. Okay. And then they don't have to. And I've noticed that I don't think anybody does, if there's many things that they don't like about it. And so I'm not trying to set myself against those people, but it's sort of me against everybody, and then again, I like that because the things that I teach are completely obvious, but it's outlandish for a lot of people, to believe that 2 black men are going to be prophesying in America, administering the plagues in Revelation 16. And not only that, they're going to start this year. Okay. And then we'll know who they are. Moses and Elijah, you can go and talk to them. And then like God is literally going to bring people here, 2 men and all that kind of stuff. And so I don't find those things outlandish, because if it were, then the entire Bible is outlandish. Okay. Like God would go and tell one of his disciples, go like grab a fish and then like take money out of his like mouth and stuff. And like, it's not funny, but like, how is that like any easier or harder to do than like bring 2 men here and like give them a place to stay? Christ would say, go forward and like take this animal so I can like ride on him. Like he already has it all set up, and it's like people who have issues with like, well, how could God bring 2 men here and then give them a place to stay for 12? Like, that's easy. Okay. Like, I don't have any issues with that. Like, that's simple. That's not the hard part. Okay. That's not hard at all. If the God of the Bible has done all the other things that he's done, okay, his son died on the cross and he raised him again. So how could the 2 witnesses not be able to get raised again after 3.5 days? He's done that. Okay. And so none of those things are like outlandish if the God of the Bible has done all those things that he's done in the past. And so, just know that. So, my God is out there to be considered, but and the nice thing about it is that, he'll be out there, me pushing him for only 6 more months, and so I would obviously highly recommend people to consider him very, very seriously, but he's not returning 10 years from now, okay, 15 years from now, or any of that. So if you're sensing that or you want that, then my God is not for you, okay? My God is horrible news for you, because he's not going to like you, okay? He's not going to like you at all, and he's not going to treat you well, and I don't care, because that's ridiculous if somebody wants that. If someone were to present to me a God as another option, yeah, you can comment, a lot of interesting things. Maybe they teach me some new things, but they're like, yeah, but you have to wait 10 years for this God. I'd be like, nope, okay, not for me. It's just, it's not even that person could be right, but I can't wait 10 years. It's just not the way I was designed. And in this system, we don't fit. And so it's not even like I'm saying that God could not be the right one. It's just not for me. Okay. And so that's the part that I'm saying, in a diplomatic way, that the only way that you're going to have an interest in my God is if you want him to return soon, like on the order of days, that kind of thing. So if not, then we are against each other. May the best man win. Hope everyone's doing well. Bye.